Semitic magic, its origins and development by R. Campbell Thompson, starting Chapter 3, Sympathetic Magic. Hitherto, this discussion has been confined to the nature of the demon and its power of obsessing mankind. It remains to treat of what Tyler describes, Primitive Culture, 4th edition, 225. Describes as the proceedings of the exorcist who talks of it, coaxes it or threatens it, makes offerings to it, entices or drives it out of the patient's body, and induces it to take up its abode in some other. Much of the magician's art consisted in his ability to transfer a spiritual power from its abode into some object under his control. In other words, he employed a form of that peculiar wizardry which is known as sympathetic magic. The force is not merely a source of power for the magician over the human soul alone, but provides him with a means of attack or defense against such evil spirits or demons as may be arrayed against him. It is a species of sorcery which shows itself in the crudest form in the use of small figures of wax or other plastic materials, fashioned with incantations in the likeness of some enemy, and then pierced with nails and pins or melted before the fire, that their human counterpart may by these means be made to suffer all kinds of torment. This is the more intelligible when, by the recognized rules of magic, it is considered more effective to obtain some portion of the victim's nails or hair or earth from under his footsteps, or even his name as an additional connection whereby the wax figure may be brought into still closer affinity with its prototype. In this case, the sorcerer possesses something definitive or tangible belonging to his foe. Although the mere image over which the exorcisms will be repeated is enough by itself, yet it is obviously more satisfactory to hold in possession something which is specifically intended with the person in question. This form of magic appeals especially to the popular mind, and there are abundant traces of its use among civilized people from the very early times to the present day. For instance, among the ancient Egyptians, the use of wax figures can be traced back as far as the Old Kingdom. A story in the Westcar Papyrus relates that a certain official on the reign of a king of the 3rd dynasty, about 3830 BCE, made a crocodile in wax, which was to devour his enemy. And the superstition continued in Egypt quite down to late times. In the second tale of Kamuas, written in Demotic Egyptian, a certain Ethiopic named Hor, son of the Negress, is overheard to say that he would send his magic up to Egypt, and thus overcame the king of the land. Upon reaching the care of the viceroy of Ethiopia, this Hor brought to court into the presence, and the viceroy commands him to perform this feat, promising all kinds of rewards if he succeeds. Thereupon Hor makes a litter of wax for 4 runners, and of reading certain formula over them he makes them live, and then he commands them to go to Egypt and bring back with them Pharaoh, who is to be beaten with 500 blows of the stick and taken back to Egypt within 6 hours. Such figures among the Greeks were also made, and